Hello there. Welcome to my website. Glad you took a look at some of my postings here this week. I wrote, if you are a regular viewer of my website, you know that I wrote a couple of weeks ago about my trip to Israel. I'm back home after quite an eventful trip. I covered the ground of things I talked about in that column a couple of weeks ago, where I went on a spiritual journey just to kind of reevaluate my life. I'm 83 years old. I talked about it at length as to why I went and what I wanted to accomplish there. Well, I had a good time, and I said, I'm accomplishing so much and seeing so much and learning so much. Maybe I should stay for a couple of more days. And I'd really made arrangements where I was staying at a pilgrimage site run by the Episcopal Church to be able to stay a few more days. I said, sure, we'd like to have you here, Jim. And so then at the last minute, I said, well, maybe I better go home. I knew I had a lot going on, but we always have a lot going on in our lives. It just was a premonition, if you will, that maybe I ought to come back home. No specifics, just a premonition. So I chose to come back home, went to the airport, got on my plane, made it out, and in a matter of hours, the missiles started flying into different parts of Israel, into Jerusalem, just a matter of a few blocks as to where I was staying at the Episcopal Pilgrimage Center. I was in the Palestinian location, and it was kind of eastern Jerusalem, right on the edge of the Palestinian location and the Jewish sector by the old city, if you've been to Jerusalem. And so the missiles came close, and then, of course, all the fallout takes place that you and I are hearing about every day. I have some very close friends of mine who were on a ship that came in, and we talked about getting together for dinner. But I said, no, I'm going to go home a day early. If I'd stayed an extra day, we were going to have dinner together. They have not gotten out yet. They are holed up in a hotel in northern Israel. It's pretty much deserted. They are safe somewhat. There's no activity where they are staying, but they can't get out. The airports are closed down. The main airport, the Ben Gurion Airport at Tel Aviv, is completely shut down to anything but military traffic. You can't go out into other directions because of roadblocks. If you go to the west, you're going into Hamas territory, into the Gaza Strip. If you go to the north, you're going into Egypt. And so wherever you go, you're landlocked in, and there's just no way to get out of there. They are hoping to get out in a few more days, possibly if there's an airplane they can catch. They've tried to charter planes, they've done everything. But you can imagine with all of the chaos going on, the number of people that want to leave. So I'm praying for them and hoping they get back soon and get back to Baton Rouge soon. We talk to them regularly. They are scared. They want to come home, but they're confident they're going to be okay. So I share that with you. I don't know why I decided to come home. I went on my spiritual search, if you will, at 83 years old that I am, and stayed there for a good bit. Maybe it was the good Lord looking out for me. I'd like to think it was a sign. I was looking for a sign. I was in the Jordan River, not to baptize. I'll write about this here a little later on. I was at the site of the Sermon on the Mount. I walked the Via Dolorosa, the road that Jesus carried with his cross after he was convicted, and where he was crucified, where he was buried. I went that whole route. I was in the Garden of Gethsemane, where he was spent a lot of time praying over that last year of his life, but also where he was betrayed by Judas. I did all of that, again, looking for a sign, if you will. And so maybe getting out of there safely was my sign. I've got to think about that some more. But I want to give you this update. Glad you're looking at my site. I've got a different column up this week about gag orders. Hope you look at. I may write about the whole Jerusalem experience after I see what happens in the coming week. That'll be up on my site next week. So glad you're spending some time with me. Take care, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.